Let's go. Who dat? We are live. Get on in here. Trickle in, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Welcome, welcome. Seraphin, Groody, who dat? The Skrmetta verse. Serge, brother, the chat is working tonight. Will, how's it going? We are in here. Chat is popping. I didn't make the same mistake. The chat is going to be happening tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 6 to 8. We're going to rock and roll. We got voice messages loaded up. We've got fresh live reaction videos loaded up. I'm excited. Let me go ahead and get the links out there. Let's see, the light is on. Do YouTube, bam. Just doing all this on the fly. Like it's nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Like it's nothing. Okay, wait a minute. Is that right? Hope so. Let's go. Who dat? Jason, what's going on? Pongo, perfect timing. Just started my DoorDash session. What was the so you're out in the streets. You're delivering left and right. I respect that. First time I heard you are the man. Well, you are right about that. You are right about that, Eric. The best in the business. Elmer comes right in. Elmer comes right in, slaps his hand down on the table with a question. Boom. I love that. This is nice. Just comes in, elbow drop right on the table, pushes everything out of the way, and says, if we win 2 out of 3, out of the Eagles, Cowboys, and Chiefs, would you rank us top 10? Yes. Yes. If we are 2-1 with wins over the Chiefs and the Cowboys, both on the road, yeah, it will probably be in my top 10. That'd be pretty sporty. We just stole possession with the chat up, 100%. With the chat up, oh my God. I mean, with the chat up's almost like a kickoff return for a touchdown. All right, let's see here. Then we got Twitch to get this all loaded up, ladies and gentlemen. Then we can rock and roll. Then we can rock and roll with reactions, viewer messages. Actually working chat. Shout out to Bucks the Mod. Boom. All right, there we go. How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? How are we doing tonight? How's everyone feeling? How is everybody feeling on this Thursday, a Friday's Eve, if you will? We are live with reactions, viewer voice messages, and actually working chat, YouTube, Twitch. Get involved. All right, we're going to put it out there. Boom. All right. All right. Saints will easily be a top 7 to top 12 team this year. I think easy. I saw this. Said the Saints will sweep their division. Sweeping the division is tough. Sweeping the division is very difficult. Very difficult. I never, ever say we're going to sweep a division because it's so hard to do. It really is. Best case scenario, as far as like projecting or planning or whatever, you're looking at 4-2. That's sweeping the Panthers, split with the Bucks, split with the Falcons. Did you live in Gulfport? I lived in Biloxi, born and raised in Biloxi, Mississippi. Fun fact about James, he types one-handed. Yep, true. Oh, what up, Crafty? What's up, my man? James, you might have to get in the weeds a little bit. Lots of news. Lots of news. Lots of news, Ryan. Gulfport in the house. There you go. After a stressful day, I can relax and watch this live stream. That might be the comment of the day. That might be the comment of the day already. Gulfport here, get on over to Biloxi. Upgrade. Get on over to Biloxi, the BLX. Pascagoula. Nice. Pascagoula's nice. It's a nice area. Nice area. Just bought tickets. Saints versus Niners and Saints versus Chargers. Damn. There you go, Elmer. A little preseason action. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of news. I mean, there's a lot happening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you that. There's a lot happening. All right, let's load up. So, I mean, there's a ton of videos. A ton of videos out there that we can react to. Do we dare show some old clips for reaction purposes? Did you see that? Yes. So we can talk about the Kamara stuff first. Y'all want to talk about the Kamara stuff before we get into the videos? So I think this will be the first video we do. The off the bench. We'll pull this up. We'll load this up. All right. But let's talk about Kamara. All right. So what's the situation? Okay. What's the situation, right? James is actually a high-end hacker. I don't know about that. I did watch Swordfish. I have watched Swordfish quite a few amount of times. Okay, so here's the deal with Alvin Kamara, all right? So how do you not have a YouTube premium account? I like the ads. Bring them on. I like the ads. No YouTube premium, no Spotify premium. We just rock and roll with the ads. All right, so let's talk about AK. Okay. Let's see. Let me go to the article. Let's pull up the article first. All right. So the Alvin Kamara situation is controversial. Okay, there's a lot of ways to look at it. Let's look them up. All right, got the article. Did a lot of partying in D'Iberville. Nothing good about that. Let me tell you that. We need Breeze to be the head coach next year. Breeze might need to be a head coach of anything first. Dude's too busy with sliders and pickleball. When we make you a millionaire, you can upgrade. I might still do the ads. Not gonna lie. What I missed? Who dat, Matt? First of all, who dat, comma Matt. But second of all, you didn't miss anything. We're just getting started. We're letting them trickle in. And then we're going to talk about Kamara. And then we're going to jump into some reaction videos. And then we're going to listen to some voice messages left by the viewers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loaded up. And if we've got time, we'll do more reaction videos. And if we've got time, we'll talk to chat, do Q&As and all that fun stuff, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's talk about Kamara. So this is written by Catherine Terrell, ESPN staff writer, covers the Saints. I think she's been on. You play fantasy football? I do. Fantasy football and fantasy baseball. Alvin Kamara skips Saints' final mini-camp practice over his contract. Okay. Alvin Kamara was. So I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to read this word for word here, but. So Kamara went to the facility, did walkthroughs or whatever, and then when it came time to do practice / minicamp, he left, went home, booted up, probably one of my YouTube videos or played a little Fortnite or whatever. So he's got 2 years left on his deal, okay? He has 2 years left on his deal, but here's the problem. Problem is, this is the last year of guaranteed money. So that means if they do not restructure a contract, then Alvin Kamara theoretically would be playing on a 1-year deal with no guaranteed money. Now, here's what I ask you. 2-part question. Part 1, if you're Alvin Kamara, of course you want a new deal, right? If you're Alvin Kamara, of course you don't want to be playing with no guaranteed money as a running back in the NFL 10 years into your career. There isn't a running back in the NFL that would do that. Okay? No way. No running back's going to do that, especially not someone like Alvin Kamara. Now, second part of the question. Let's say you are the New Orleans Saints. Do you want to extend and give guaranteed money to a 29-year-old running back? That is the $1 million question, no pun intended. That is it right there. That is it in a nutshell. Now, this is what I think will happen. I think they'll extend him for like a 2-year deal or something, however they make it work, and they'll throw cash incentives or cash bonuses or however they phrase it to get under the manipulation of the cap, and that will be, for all intents and purposes, that will be his guaranteed contract. But I would be surprised if Alvin Kamara did not sign a contract, or if this wasn't done by the first week. Alvin being whiny. I don't think it is whiny. If you're a running back at this stage of your career, there's no way you're going to play you're not going to play for not guaranteed money. The position is way too risky. He's worth another 2 years, then reassess. If that's the case, you sign up, you do the 2-year extension, you give him whatever, $20 million in cash bonuses, and then you go from there. So put Groupie in the backfield, and we Can you imagine Groupie back there? He would turn to dust. If he got hit, he would turn to dust. If not, okay, so Adam, good question. So let's say you don't extend him, okay? Let's say you don't want to mess with it. Then you are pretty much saying we are going to rock and roll with Kendre Miller. Like Kendre Miller is going to be the starting running back. That's what you're saying. I'm with you. I think Alvin still has 1 to 2 years left. Alvin has the leverage. Well, Mickey has the leverage because as a 29-year-old running back, it's not crazy to think that Mickey would say, "All right, man, we'll see you later." But Alvin has said he wants to be a lifelong Saint. Like he has been open saying that. He has been open saying, "I want to retire in New Orleans." So I think he wants to sign. It's really up to the team. It's very difficult for an NFL team to extend or give big money to a 29, 30-year-old running back. What's up, James? What's going on, Rich? Kendra ain't it. Not yet anyway. We need to know after this. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I would not want to just turn everything over and say, all right, we're cool with Kendre Miller being the starting running back. I'm not there. So, what that all looks like what Alvin really wants guaranteed-wise, I don't know. But that's the Alvin Kamara situation. I'm not putting I'm not putting a ton of stock into this. I don't think it's that big of a deal. If it was a big deal, if it was truly a big deal, I think Alvin would have not been at camp. I think he'd be holding out. I think he would have, made this known, and it would be a boom or bust situation. Monetize so we can super chat and support. I'll look into it, but don't forget, guys, y'all support the support that I care about and that I am very thankful for are the views on the videos, watching the live streams, commenting on the videos, thumbs up on the videos, subscribing to the channels. That's the support that we need and I care about. So I'll look into the super chat and all that stuff, but I very much appreciate the support that doesn't require super chat. Do you think Taysom Hill will have at least 1,100 or 1,200 rushing yards this year with 120 or 130 carries? I do not. That would be crazy as hell. No, I do not. That would be nuts. No way. That would be a whole lot. If you're the Saints, you're not going to be super enthusiastic about paying the 4th highest paid running back in the NFL when he's 29. Yeah, I mean, exactly. If he's 27, if he's 26, extend him. But we've seen it before. We've seen the same exact conversation year after year after year, right? The same conversations with Ezekiel Elliott, the same conversations with Todd Gurley, the same conversations with Le'Veon Bell. This happens all the time. And the part that no one wants to hear, but running backs are very, their shelf life is just so short. Running backs are 2 years, 3 years, somewhere in there. 2 years, 3 years. And then you can kind of rotate running backs. Your boy Kamara skipping on practice. Oh, Eduardo, what's up, man? Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think they'll get the contract worked out. But yeah, you never want to see that for sure. The second year is peak for running backs. Miller, year 2. I think Kendre Miller could have a big year if he stays healthy. But, I mean, he had 140 yards. He had 140 yards last year. So have we seen enough to make him the starting running back in an offense where the running back is the most important position? I don't know about that. I'm a Saints fan, but I'm so happy right now because today I bought the ticket for the first NFL game that is going to happen in my home country, Brazil. That is sweet. It's going to be a lot of fun. James just got off work and come home to a stream. Let's go. Huge. 2 hours, 6 to 8. We're going to be rocking and rolling. Doing what no one else even has the guts to attempt to do. And we do it every single day. You think AK is saying this because he has realized how much he will do in the coming years? No, I think he realizes it's a very physically intensive position where injuries happen and all that happens is he wants to play with guaranteed money. I feel like Kamara is still at his highest unless AV plays well in that CMC role. Then what? Yeah, I mean, well, I think that's what'll happen. Like I think that's what'll happen is Kamara will play and we will extend him and he will have a good season. And then at that point, you got a 30-year-old running back you got a good year out of. Then you probably do shift to Kendra or you know, how can NFL players negotiate contracts without upsetting their fan base? Well, that's a good question, Ryan. Good question. I think the fans and the media and everyone, I think they need to understand like it's a contract negotiation is not necessarily a bad thing, right? If you've ever negotiated a promotion or a salary increase or any of that stuff at work, it's not because you hate the company or it's not because you hate your coworkers or it's not because there's animosity. Sometimes you just want fair value, you want fair payment, you want to be taken care of. Like it's a very normal thing. You know, I look at it like more like that. I look at it less like a contract dispute or whatever. I look at it more like negotiating a promotion or negotiating a bonus or a raise. And it's not that big of a deal when people do it in the office place, but when it, you know, and so just remember that too. Biggest difference this year is addition by subtraction. PC gone. I've been watching games from last year and it's so bad with no motion or play action. Yeah, 100%. 100%. 2-year extension, $25 million with 20 guaranteed. Yeah, exactly. That's probably exactly what we're looking at. It's something like that. CMC 28 years old and still getting paid and still balling hard. But so Adam, think about this though. Carolina said we can't handle this contract. So Carolina had to get rid of him. So they were in a very similar situation where they were like, we can't pay him. It's not worth it. Our team sucks. Like we have a running back who's injured, who has injury issues going into the twilight of his career. He's got to go. And yeah, CMC landed in a good spot in San Francisco for sure. But Carolina had a similar situation. I think he's already getting paid too much. Probably. Running backs is one of those things, like, it is proven. Like, you just don't pay running backs. Paying a running back a lot of money has never worked out. It's one of those things that just does not work out. James the GOAT is live again. We are here, Warrior, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. reacting, doing what only we can do. So, yeah, I mean, we'll monitor the Kamara situation, but I do not think it will affect this season at all. Do you think Derek Carr will get an extension in 2026 if he has a good year this year and next year? If he is really, really good, not this year, but next year, probably. Or we may tag him or something, but I mean, you know, it's one of those things, like, it's a good problem to have, right? Like, if the problem is, hey, our quarterback is really good in the fourth year of a 4-year contract, then that's a great problem to have. And whether you franchise tag him or whether you extend him a couple of years or pay him on a 1-year basis, at that point, you know, do what you got to do. How do you feel about the quarterback room if Carr underperforms at the halfway point? If Carr is not injured, he will be starting quarterback this entire year. We are in a full development mode with Rattler and Haener. So I don't think Carr can be bad enough to where they'll turn to Haener or Rattler. He needs to be top 10 level to get more than 1 year. 10, that's probably not even good enough. He would have to be like top 5 level. He would have to be really, really good. And the team would have to be really, really good too. Divine Eternity, what's happening? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into our first reaction video of the day. All right. Live reaction with chat popping off. This is. What's up with the big Kirk hype? Like, isn't going for the best receiver in the league to Drake London? Man, preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir. All right. here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, keep popping off in chat. We will read chat throughout the video. A live reaction, doing what only I can do. I love it. I love the compliments of people saying, hey, no way this is live. No way you can do this without notes. And I say the same thing every time. Watch this. So, the backdrop, off the bench overtime, the video. Why Saints quarterback Derek Carr could have monster season in 2024. Clint Kubiak hire already paying off. We are here off the bench overtime. T-Bob, Jacob Hester. Let's get right into the video, ladies and gentlemen.
Understand here. It is summer.
Just like that,
my headset's sunshine season. You understand that I'm a bit of a natural optimist to begin with anyway, and I can kind of logic and talk myself into anything. That said, Jake, listen to this. Listen to these headlines from multiple different Saints beat writers here. Because I'm starting to get a little excited
there you go.
For this offense and for Derek Carr. And I don't care if I'm an idiot, okay?
Man, shouts to T-Bob. So the shirt, Dead and Company. So that's John Mayer. It's like a Grateful Dead cover band, basically, but John Mayer. It's unreal. I'm not really a jam band kind of guy. I've been listening to a lot. Now, I am a John Mayer guy. Pause. But I've been listening to a lot of Dead and Company. If you like John Mayer or if you like the Grateful Dead, give them a shout. Also, big ups. Shout out to T-Bob's haircut. Wow, that looks nice.
I see the vision, and it appears to be all coming together. And look, go ahead and get that Marshall Newhouse sound ready there, that video, Taylor, in the first segment there. Word on the street right now is, Jake, and we got to be objective, okay? You got to call a spade a spade. Remember when Jameis Winston wasn't practicing that well, but we were still kind of trying to convince ourselves that it was going to go really well?
Yes.
Well,
I never
word on
did
the street
that.
is Derek Carr is practicing very well right now and looks damn good. In fact, here's the headline of Luke Johnson's practice notes from the other day. Quote, Saints observations. Derek Carr looks like the player the Saints wanted him to be. Here's a Nick Underhill tweet from yesterday. Derek Carr has looked great in this offense all summer long. And here's a Ross Jackson tweet from yesterday. Quarterback Derek Carr ended practice 6 of 6 with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion and ended the game 2-minute simulation.
Not the
he threw the touchdown on a 25-yard wheel route to Alvin Kamara, followed up by a 2-point conversion to Rashid Shaheed.
Sidebar, man, I've been seeing a bunch of people tweeting out stats from practice and from minicamp. There is nothing on earth more useless and more pointless than stats from minicamp or practice. I saw a stat. It was like Derek Carr, 48 for 54, 397 yards, 3 touchdowns today on 7-on-7s. Who cares? Who cares about, if you're seeing, I didn't want to blast anybody on Twitter, but like we're doing minicamp stats. Who's counting the yards? Are they counting the yards by themselves? Because I know there's not like a box score. So are they sitting there like running up and down the sidelines trying to calculate the yards? So if you see that stuff on Twitter, I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't mean anything.
This is not in the tweet. Interestingly, in that two-minute drill that they ran into the game, they're down 5. They got to go score to win. The 6-6, 3 targets to Taysom.
Who are they down 5 to? What does that mean? 2-minute drill down 5 to who? The staff? The people just like cutting the grass or something? Who the hell is up 5? What's the score? Who's the other team? They're down 5. What does that mean? It's did they have a halftime show? Who performed?
Taysom Hill. And reportedly from reading about practice, Taysom Hill running a lot of routes out of the backfield. You can feel it. The Kubiaking intensifying.
Yes.
Somewhere out there, Mickey Loomis gum smacking is intensifying as well as he's getting ready for a massive I told you so if Derek Carr actually ends up being good. And, Jake, lest you say T-Bob, Clint Kubiak cannot solve everything, you are an idiot. I don't wholly disagree with you on the latter part, but on the former, there's a very smart outside of football voice that has added to the Kubiak chorus. Here is Marshall Newhouse on the Mina Kimes pod. They're talking about the Saints X Factor, and they actually say it's Talisi Fuanga. But listen to what Marshall has to say about Kubiak and how he can help the Saints team?
Am going offensive line for the New Orleans Saints. And I'm going with the guy that they took in the first round this year. I'm doing another rookie here, and that's Talisa Fuanga, who is finally, we got one. Fuanga is making the move from right tackle to left tackle. I have questions about that. I know you've watched Fuanga. Like, how do you feel about him making that move, and why did you choose him along with me as being like the X factor for this team?
The move from right tackle to left tackle is downplayed a little too much. It's a difficult transition, especially for a rookie, but he went to just an incredible situation. And in the past, I wouldn't have said that in New Orleans particularly. So I'm excited about this pick. I also think it cannot be overstated that the signing of Clint Kubiak is going to be huge.
We know all this. I've been saying this for 8 months. Like, this is one of those things where I've been sitting here day in and day out, and I've been saying the same thing. Hey, guys, the Clint Kubiak hire is a bigger deal than people think. Hey, guys, like, we really might need to give some credit to the front office for cleaning house and bringing in all these new ideas. Hey, guys, like, the fact that we're changing schemes for the first time in 20 years, like, big deal. And I'm looking around, and all these other channels are doing is saying, Derek Carr sucks. Dennis Allen, bad coach, me no likey. That's all they're saying. And now that we are finally seeing all this taking place, what are they doing? They're just saying the same stuff we've been saying for 3 months. They've been saying, wow, now that I'm seeing it in minicamp, maybe Derek Carr can be an okay quarterback. Maybe it's okay if Derek Carr, maybe there is a chance that Derek Carr is like the 14th, 15th best quarterback in the NFL. Maybe that's okay. Hey, now that I'm seeing all this, have y'all noticed that Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator, not Pete Carmichael? Yeah, we noticed that here 4 months ago. So, we're 3.5 minutes. We're 3.5 minutes into this video, and I feel like I'm just listening to a highlight of what we've said for the last 90 days. Tell me something new.
Arbitrage.
Give me something to react to.
Situations, because over the course of an average 60 to 70 offensive snaps, the amount of times that you just give a defensive end, an edge rusher, a pure one-on-one pass rush, the more times you can decrease that in creative ways in the flow of your offense, the better you'll be, especially when there's a mismatch or you have a young guy or a guy who's switching positions.
Bro, that is exactly what we have been saying about Kubiak, and hopefully the difference between what Pete Carmichael running with, he was running. Like, if Trevor Penning sucks, here's a tip. Don't constantly leave him on an island against an elite edge rusher. And that's exactly like, I found it very validating to hear an 11-year vet, Super Bowl champ in Marshall Newhouse, an outside voice echoing the same exact kind of positive spin stuff that we have been here in-house in terms of what's like the best case scenario with a Clint Kubiak and how do you make people look better. So the Saints are going to win 10 games. They're going to win the NFC South, and they're going to make the playoffs.
There you go.
I feel it in my bones, my loins, and Derek Carr's going to have a great year.
I mean, it's an easy algorithm. It's an easy algorithm. What was the biggest problem last year? Personnel, play calls, like all of that. Stagnant scheme. We didn't score on the opening possession of games. Like, the list can go on and on and on and on. We fixed all that, theoretically. We fixed all that. So if that's the problem, then it would be easy to deduce that, well, yeah, they could be okay. And then a lot of people are like, yeah, but Carr sucks. And it's like, well, Carr, made 25 touchdowns and 10 interceptions and threw for, 3,800 yards, like, on a really bad year. I had a guy in the comments today was in my comment section, and he was like, as long as Derek Carr and Dennis Allen are on this team, as long as that's the case, the Saints will never be above 500. And I said, my brother in Christ, they were above 500 last year. What are we talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean? Man said, I can't see a world where Derek Carr and Dennis Allen on the same team can be above 500. Does Mans have dementia? Does Mans have Alzheimer's? Because 10 months ago, we were above 500 with a horrific offensive coaching staff that got completely turned over. It's nuts.
You want to stamp that?
I'm stamping
that's real?
I'm stamping it. I'm feeling it.
Okay.
6 of 6 2-minute drill at the end of minicamp. Okay. I don't know. Like, what are you gonna? I'm sorry, I'll trust the football. You know, that's you can go out there and you can watch your combine tape and all that. I'll trust the football.
Yep.
And I saw 6 dominant games to end last year. I see 6 of 6 on a 2-minute drill with a wheel route to AK for a touchdown. Marshall Newhouse out here pumping up Kubiak. The Saints are back.
Now this is where you can go too far the other way. And I know T-Bob is joking around here, but it's okay to be hyped up. It's okay to be, positive to the future and seeing the vision and seeing all that stuff like we do. But you do have to then be realistic and say, but middle of the road roster, this is the first year for all this to happen. Difficult schedule. 9-10 wins sounds about right. If you hear all this stuff and you're like, okay, I've seen enough, 14 wins, that's it. We're going 14-3. We're going to the Super Bowl. It's like, well, hold on now. Because you don't want to go too far the other direction. So you gotta stay realistic. And the most important part about staying realistic is that way you can truly see what was a good year, what was a bad year. If you're expecting 16-1 and we go 10-7, you're like, man, can't believe we didn't go 16-1. When really 10-7 should be a good season.
In a big way.
So the sound we played yesterday from Chris Olave, it is important to point out he mentioned Taysom Hill as well. And Taysom Hill is going to line up everywhere. We've seen him at fullback, tight end, running back. He's going to have a role. Like, he is going to be the toy.
He's going to be the Deebo Samuel. He is going, but that is what's so great about Clint Kubiak, is that a year ago, 2 years ago with Pete Carmichael, when Pete Carmichael was trying to play with his yo-yo, and that's not a euphemism, okay? I'm talking literal here. I'm talking about a fireball yo-yo, all right? But Taysom Hill was stuck in one thing. It's like, oh, Taysom Hill can only run these plays. Taysom Hill can only do this one thing. With Clint Kubiak, Taysom Hill could be the tight end. Taysom Hill could be the running back. Taysom Hill could be the fullback. Taysom Hill could be like a wing back. Taysom Hill could be a wide receiver. He is going to move people around. I'm telling you. He will be moved around. That's why someone asked earlier, like, can Taysom Hill have 1,200 yards rushing? I say no, because I don't think Clint Kubiak is just going to pound Taysom Hill up the middle enough to get 1,200 yards. He'll be everywhere.
Kubiak uses in this offense like Deebo Samuel was. I'm not saying they're using him like Deebo Samuel, but he's going to be the guy that they attempt to use in multiple ways. Like, I think we can go ahead and we can stamp that for sure. Like, that looks like it's guaranteed.
Yes.
Okay. Now, on the Derek Carr front, are you sure you want to go there? Like, you sure you want to say, okay, yeah, I believe this is going to happen? Because you're right. Like,
I will cut my nuts off.
Don't say that.
If Derek Carr.
Okay. What are we doing here, T-Bob? What's going on here? This is a family show.
Carr is not a top 12 quarterback at the end of this football season.
7-11 on June 13th. This will be timestamped.
Hell yeah.
6.
There you go. Yeah. Tiger droppings. Have fun with that one. Okay? I've survived one bet. I have one hanging in the air, which is a guarantee. Florida would have to win the SEC. And now Derek Carr is going to be a top 12 quarterback easily.
But that's funny. Like, and that is what I've been saying. Like, the people who are like, well, what about Carr? And it's like, T-Bob needs, in order to save T-Bob's marble bag, I didn't think I'd be saying that today. In order to save T-Bob's marble bag, Derek Carr has to be pretty average. We're talking 12th? We're talking top 12? That's it? For the A-Bear family jewels to be safe and sound? Like, okay. It's not like we're sitting here saying he's going to be a top 5 guy or an MVP candidate. We're talking about top 12. Like, very doable. Very doable.
Can I get a...
And you know what else is kind of funny about this? We're paying... Don't look at me like that, Jacob. We're paying Derek Carr to be the 12th best quarterback because he's getting 12th best quarterback money. So it all the puzzle pieces fit perfectly.
risk? Can I get an injury provision? Can I get injury insurance here?
Yeah.
Like if he gets hurt, it's off. If he misses 3 games or more.
Yeah,
Deal?
I think so. That's fair. Yeah.
I guess. I mean, you just put your nuts on the line.
Yeah.
For Derek
good.
Carr.
Because I believe. Okay.
Well, you
respect.
You keep talking about the end of the season, and you're right about the stats of it, but you also need to mention that they played a team that would have had the number 1 overall pick, the number 6 overall pick, and the number 8 overall pick in that stretch of last 5 games.
Yeah.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, this is another part of the topic that I love. And be ready to chime in. So T-Bob, in between putting his nuts on the line, so T-Bob said that Derek Carr finished the season strong, right? Jacob said, well, sure, they finished the season strong. Sure. But don't forget, 3 of those teams suck. Does anybody in the chat know what's important about those 3 teams that Jacob just listed? Anybody? I'll give you a hint. We play those teams 2 times each every single year. That is our division. That is our ticket to the playoffs, is being better than those 3 scrub teams. So I don't care that Carolina, Atlanta, and Tampa suck. I hope they do, because that's who we have to beat. That's who the majority of our schedule is against. Those 3. So if we are better than those 3 and we win the division and we're hosting a playoff game, I don't care if people say, well, those opponents were bad. How many people have said, well, who cares that Tampa beat the Eagles in the playoffs? Who cares? Because Tampa won a bad division. No one says that. You know what people say? Damn, the Buccaneers are sweet. They beat the Eagles in the playoffs. They hosted a playoff game. Hey, let's give Baker Mayfield $120 million. Right? My, ladies and gentlemen, how the narrative changes when you win. Okay? Because down in Tampa Bay, next to Hulk Hogan's gift shop, they're not sitting there saying, well, guys, playoff win doesn't matter. It was an easy schedule. It was an easy division. No. They enjoyed hosting the playoffs. They enjoyed hanging the NFC South banner. They enjoyed all that, and I don't blame them, and I would too. So the fact that, and I'll tell you this too, I'm happy that 3 of the games were against divisional opponents, because if 3 of the games were against non-divisional opponents that were not playing this year, then that good finish to last year wouldn't mean as much. So when people say that as a counter argument, to me, it just is more of like pushing the point of, damn, they figured something out against the teams that it's the most important that they figure something out against. That was a strong monologue right there. I was really feeling it.
Hey, you got to beat the bad teams if you want to win 10 games.
Divisional games.
I mean, statistically, don't the Saints have one of the easier schedules entering the season, even though the beginning is very hard in terms of how it breaks down? Like,
yeah, because they do it wrong. They have one of the easier schedules because all the scrubs at ESPN believe that the way to do strength of schedule is by the average win percentage from the previous season, which has absolutely no bearing on the current season. So, yes, they do. But you know who had an easier schedule last year? The Atlanta Falcons. And the Atlanta Falcons won 7 games.
A lot of quality on the front end. That's fine. Take some early punches, grow a bit. Y'all are going to be making fun of me. Saints will be like 2 and 3. Like, oh, my God, your nuts are done. And then Derek Carr and the boys are going to come out hot and take over.
Also,
look, I see the value. Okay, I see the vision.
Also, one of the games that you're talking about in that final 6, he averaged 4.6 yards an attempt. Yep. Another one, 6 yards per attempt.
Mm-hmm.
But who cares about this? Who cares about last year's stats? It's a completely different scheme. It's a completely different offense. It's a completely different coaching staff. He averaged 4.6 yards per completion. You don't think that the fact that we have a completely new scheme, strategy, play caller, and everything, you don't think that might affect the ADOT, average depth of target, by the way, a little deep analytic there. You don't think that's going to affect that? Like when people are like, oh, well, Carr did this last year. Yeah, We know the offense was bad last year. That's why we told Pete Carmichael to put an egg in his shoe and beat it. That's why he's in Denver, doing who the hell knows what. All right, because I know he's not dialing up plays. I know that.
Another one, 5.8 yards per attempt.
Pete Carmichael.
Thank you, T-Bob.
I don't know what to tell you. He's not arbitraging the pass rush like Marshall.
He's a clown.
Was talking about. I don't know, man. This is okay. A bit of this is tongue in cheek, but a lot of it's also not.
There you go.
Tongue in cheek. Like I do see legitimately the areas in which the Saints could be much better offensively this year. And again, these are a lot of Saints beat writers, right?
I don't listen. I don't need the beat writers. Okay. I don't need the beat writers to tell me what I already know. I don't need somebody standing on Airline Drive watching practice to tell me the impact that Clint Kubiak will make. We know that, right? So my opinion has not changed, will not change throughout any of minicamp. I don't care how many 5-point leads Derek Carr cuts into against some simulated defense or whatever the hell they're doing in the training facility. It's too simple of an algorithm for me. The Saints addressed it would be like if I'm trying to think of a good quarterback here. Patrick Mahomes. It would be like if Patrick Mahomes, if the Chiefs went and got Devontae Adams. And then somebody would be like, I've been doing math problems all night. I have a crazy idea. I'm starting to think that Devontae Adams being on the Chiefs, that might make the passing game better. Like, of course it will. It was a problem area. You upgraded it. It's going to make it better. It's a positive. It's a positive move. Saints problem. Pete Carmichael and the coaching staff, the personnel, the plays, the scheme, and all that. We addressed it. That's it. We shouldn't have these like hurrah moments. It should just be understood.
Who have caught a ton of flack for talking about how good Derek Carr looked last year in practice and everything else, and how this franchise quarterback supposed to look and all that stuff. And every week we talk to Nick, you can tell like he's very hesitant about wanting to be positive because everybody wants to be negative right now. And if he's ever positive, he gets shouted down. Me as a homer, sunshine pup, or whatever. But objectively, it sounds like it's going really well, practice-wise, for Carr and the offense. And I know the defense is going to be good. Like, I'm a firm believer that the defense is going to be top 10. I don't know, man. I see value. Again, I would smash the Saints over win total.
What? Didn't they say under 7.5 win total? Didn't we just do this? I thought we reacted to their video where they went under 7.5. Am I wrong on that?
7.5. I think that's an easy win here. So yeah, get ready. Whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to,
top 12.
I'll stand out here alone. Top 12. Top 12.
So what
12 is.
Yeah, but like in terms of what?
Are we going quarterback rating?
We don't need to nail down too many specifics, right?
I think you do.
Nope.
You mean like if you look at the overall numbers?
Yeah, exactly. So I need to allow.
I think the worst way to do it would be QBR. Passing yards would be another really bad way to do it. I would enlist in someone like, the Warren Sharps of the world or the Patent Analytics of the world or some of the smart Vegas groups, and I would let them define the analytics. I would let them rank the quarterbacks if I was really doing this. If I was T-Bob.
Allow myself a little latitude, okay? I need maybe it's like, oh, he's like 11th in yards, or like, oh, he's like 12th in quarterback rating, or oh, he's like 12th in yards per attempt. Like, I got to allow myself a little wiggle room here.
12th in anything.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Sounds
He's going to be a top 12 quarterback by the end of the year. Okay? The Raiders should have never let him go, but they did.
Ooh.
Their loss is our gain. And he may felt used, but with this with Cubes in town, it's looking like a new car lining up for the New Orleans Saints this fall.
There you go.
I hope you're right.
I don't think you do.
For your nuts' sake.
You know what's interesting is that and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we stick to what's real. Because like T-Bob says, it's cool to be negative right now. No one wants to be positive. When you stick with the truth, when you stick with the numbers, the data, you're breaking things down, when you're sticking from I just think this is real and the true thing. I'm not trying to do some insane bit with $100 million and Taylor Swift CDs or whatever Moscano was doing the last time we did this show. When you're just sticking to what's real, you don't have to worry about the perception. Just stick to and that's what we do here. I stick to what I really think is going to happen. I'm never going to be uber positive just to be uber positive. I'm never going to be negative just to be negative.
I don't think you do. I don't think you want me to be right because your hate of Derek Carr has blinded you.
It is not a hate. It is when he got signed last offseason, I took a step back and I just looked at who he's been in his career. He's had highs and he's had lows, and the lows were more recent than the highs. And you looked at who the Saints had offensively, you kind of looked at the system, and I said, this is not going to go well. And it didn't. Now, he finished strong. Congrats to him.
But was it because of Carr or was it because of the system?
Again, I do hope that he is really good, because when the Saints are good, that's better for us here on this show.
I don't think you do. You love Kirk O'Chains too much.
Well, I mean, Kirk Cousins is the far better quarterback.
You love Kirk O'Chains too much. You're going to be a Falcons fan.
I don't think he's that much better. I think he's better, but I don't think he's that much better.
This fall, I see.
I had Cousins at 14, and I had Carr at 17. So
all the elements.
No, there's only one
here.
person in here that's ever been a Falcons fan, and that is you, sir.
Yeah, that's true. I was a massive Falcons fan growing up.
Like, I got my own issues with my own NFL team. Okay.
Look, guys, I'm not entirely trolling here. I'm really not. The Marshall Newhouse bit there has empowered me to believe that maybe Coobs really can be that panacea. Wow, just
there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, boom. There it is. T-Bob starting to drink the Kool-Aid. T-Bob starting to drink the Kool-Aid there. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear somebody else is starting to see things for what they really are. Let's get caught up in chat. Let's get caught up in chat, shall we? Let's see here. Pammy Whammy. I came in on the wrong end of this convo. Yeah, you must have came in whenever T-Bob was putting his marble bag on the table. He can do it, but I'm not betting my nuts on it. Yeah. Badges. We don't need no stinking badges. 12 wins out of Carr? No. That's not what top 12 means. We don't need 12 wins for him to be a top 12 quarterback. Division. Yep, y'all nailed it. The records of our division rivals don't matter. Those games are still important. I don't know why people don't get that. Yep. We easily could have been 5-1 in the division. 4-2 division get you there. Exactly. I'm betting on the Saints to beat the Chiefs. The odds should almost be a value bet. We're 8-point dogs, so it'll probably be somewhere around, 260, somewhere in there? Almost 3-1. Maybe 3-1. Carmichael is a glorified quality control coach. True and real. The Chiefs isn't important. The Cowboys, Eagles, Rams, and Packers will help our play. 100%. Well said. Yep. Very true. Very true. Very, very true. There are about 8 Kirk Cousins in the league. Yeah, I mean, true. Like, Kirk Cousins is Derek Carr, who is Geno Smith, who is that whole tier. Like, that whole tier of quarterbacks is the exact same. Dak Prescott is Kirk Cousins, who's Geno Smith, can they catch lightning in a bottle and be good for a couple weeks? Sure. Have they ever won anything? No. Kirk Cousins is what, 1-4 in playoff games? I think he's won 1 playoff game. Sweet. Like, all of a sudden, a guy who's won 1 playoff game in his entire career is going to lead the Falcons to the NFC title game? Like, it's crazy. Why? You know? Is this thing? Oh, what's up, Bucks? Bucks, we got the chat figured out, man. Appreciate the IT work on the back end, my boy. Ladies and gentlemen, do y'all want to do some voice messages? Or do y'all want to do another reaction video? Let's see some. We got 5 voice messages. or we can do another reaction video. I'll leave it up to y'all. What's your opinion about the Cleveland Browns getting rid of Joe Flacco? I think they had to. I think they had to because of Watson. Because if Watson would have struggled, then people would have been clamoring for Flacco, and it would have been a bad situation. So I think they had to. I think they had to do it for the quarterback situation, just for Watson, which is a horrible situation. All right, looks like we want to do voice messages. We will do voice messages. All right, the first one is from Artem Maximov. What a sweet name. That's a very cool name. Damn. Artem Maximov. Oh my God. Come on, play. Artem Maximov. All right, sometimes you got to refresh these for whatever reason.
Hey, James. First of all, thank you for the community outreach and the continued content.
No problem. Absolutely.
Enjoying the pace of videos a lot.
Pace of videos, a.k.a. 1 or 2 videos a day. I mean, are you kidding me? Pace of videos high. I'm glad y'all appreciate that. I don't plan on stopping either. So at least 1 video, sometimes 2 videos, definitely during the season. How about a buzzball review? I just cold sweated. I just gagged a little bit. I mean, hard to even fathom something worse than a buzzball. Kubiak's interview? Okay. We'll do that after the voice messages. Solid shout.
My question is a little bit broader than just American football overall, but we're seeing a pretty large increase in the use of statistics and analytics and quote-unquote underlying factors that are supposed to be predictors for future stats. You see this a lot in like baseball with things like FIP, fielding and pitching being a better predictor of future ERA than past ERA and stuff like that. And then now in in European football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, you're getting like expected goals based on where people are taking their shots from and stuff like that.
Yep.
How long do you think it is before American football gets the kind of things like that, where you're going to try to get some underlying metrics to predict future success? You're kind of already getting there with pass rush win rate and stuff like that, trying to predict sacks. But where do you think that will head in the future? How will it expand going?
Great question. It's something we talked about quite a bit. I think the analytics, for some reason, the NFL has been really, really slow. And I think it's because we still have a lot of the old guard coaches, guys like Mike McCarthy. We've seen kind of the same people getting reshuffled with the coaches. And a lot of them are that, run on first down, take the points, punt, field position, kick the field goal, don't go for 2 unless you have to. Like, that mindset was most of the coaches, and then we saw a shift. We saw the shift of the Sean McVays and the Kyle Shanahans and the Mike McDaniels and the Kevin O'Connells, and now we're seeing the shift continue with Bobby Slowick and Ben Johnson. And Bobby Slowick and Zach Robinson, as a matter of fact, the Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator, both of them worked at PFF. Not guest contributors, not wrote articles there, not were on their TV shows. They worked there. They got their checks there. They were all into data analytics. So if we get those kind of coaches, that's just going to push it more and more. I think this year, next year, I think a couple of years ago is when it really started. John Harbaugh, coaches like that started to say, look, we are doing things a little different on 2-point conversions. We're doing a little things different on 4th down. Like, we are using analytics. We have coaches, we have assistants, we have groups in the booth in our facilities that are running the, for lack of a better term, they're running the game theory. They're running all that, and we're going to try and play at an optimal, the numbers here. Like, our percentages are going to be baked into the decisions we make. We're not going to kick an extra point because of momentum, or we're not going to kick an extra point because of, the team vibes or any of that stuff. We're going to, just like you're playing blackjack. And I've said this a million times, but if you've got a hand of blackjack and you can either have 5 MIT, quantitative researchers behind you running numbers, or you can have some guy from the 1970s who's betting with his gut. Like, who are you going to be more confident in asking what to do? You're going to want to know what the numbers are. You're going to want to know what the percentages are. And I think the NFL is the same way. I think it's heading towards that. And it's so crazy because you can tell who is doing it and who's not. As far as coaches, as far as analysts, as far as the people on ESPN and Fox Sports or whatever. But man, is it bad. Man, is it bad. We talked about it in yesterday's video. We talked about how yards per play is more important than points per game. And I had a ton of people in the comments. You can go look in that video. A ton of people in the comments could not grasp it. And what were they saying? They were saying your yards per play can be sky high, but the only thing that matters is how many points you have compared to your opponent. And it's like that's the old school mentality that keeps football stuck in the Stone Ages. You throw the ball on first down, incomplete. What do 90% of coaches do? Run the ball on second down. Sweet. Now it's 3rd and 8. Cool. Like, awesome. Thank you. That was fantastic. Right? Like, you're down 14. And I see Pretty Boy Schwan in the chat, so I know he's going to get this. You're down 14 late. You score. How many coaches kick the extra point? How many coaches go for 2? It's obviously right to go for 2. It is the easiest math in the world. You have a 50% chance of success. You get 2 chances. Why wouldn't you do the 50% chance of success twice if that means winning the game? Right? But coaches are just in that old school world of don't take the risk, don't do anything out of the box. So that was a really, really good question. I could talk about the analytics side of football, and I'll tell you this too, guys. This is just a little sidebar. If you want to start thinking about the games like this, and you want to start getting away from passing yards per game being the driving factor of who the best quarterback is, listen to sports betting podcasts. Go to sports betting websites like vsin.com, VSIN. Read their articles and all of that, because that's what they care about. And if the best bettors in the world are betting millions of dollars and they care about whatever random analytic is the analytic of the day, if they care about that, but Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith, who don't even watch the games, are trying to tell you that passing yards per game or QBR matters, you're going to be way better off going with the gamblers. QBR is a fake stat? Yes, it is. QBR is a fake stat created by ESPN to give ESPN some kind of like credence or something to grade quarterbacks. But it is a fake stat. QBR is ridiculous. Yes. Thank you very much. That was an unreal question. I mean, that was really, really, really good from Artem. Great question. Great question. All right, next up, Hurricane Mike. Who, Lord have mercy. Hurricane Mike is Hurricane Mike drops messages, and we appreciate that. And I'll tell you this: Hurricane Mike is about to take us for a ride. Okay, Hurricane Mike drops bombs. This is going to be a Category 5 right here. This got me thinking. I think it would be very cool to do some watch-alongs during the season. 100%. Yeah, Crafty, we'll be doing. My plan is to do watch-alongs with most of the road games, most of the away games, and then some like primetime games, just non-Saints games, just on doing what you're talking about, just kind of breaking everything down. See, Green Bay last year, exactly. All right, let's strap in, ladies and gentlemen. Strap in, because Hurricane Mike is about to bring it. All right, let me refresh here.
Hey, James. I have a question for you as fellow Saints fans.
All right.
Let's say the Saints go 10-7, right?
Okay. Let me write this down.
But let's say
Saints
the
are
offense,
10-7.
right,
Okay.
is way better, like way astronomically better.
Okay, astronomically better
than what it was last season, right?
Okay.
And then we get this 10 wins that we improved by a game or so.
Okay. Yep.
Do you see the Saints, if the defense remains the same, do you see the Saints promoting Clint Kubiak, the head coach? Or do you think he's going to stay an offensive coordinator, or somebody else is going to pick him up and we're going to have to do the search again? Do you think we should just make him the head coach if our offense is great, or just keep him? Let me know.
Good problem to have, first of all. If the offense is so good that other teams want Clint Kubiak, good problem to have. Enter the Houston Texans. Enter the Detroit Lions. Okay? We see it all the time. Now, if we're 10-7, Dennis Allen's not getting fired. Okay? And he's definitely not doing the old shuffle where Dennis Allen will be the DC and Kubiak will be the head coach. And we don't even know if Kubiak wants to be the head coach. Similar to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson could have had Ben Johnson was, at one point, they were saying he was going to be like a $15 million a year head coach. He turned everything down. How true is that? Who knows? But he turned it all down to be an OC again. Sometimes these OCs just want to be OCs. You know, they want to build up their offense. They like the situation they're in. They want to see it through a couple of years and then go be a head coach, right? So this isn't Madden, all right? It's not as simple as good OC equals head coach. Like, it's not a 1 year. It shouldn't be a 1 year thing. It shouldn't be you're an OC for 1 year and then boom, now you're a head coach. It does happen, but it shouldn't be like that. Now, so the two answers to this question is, if we're 10-7, will we fire Dennis Allen if the offense is really good? No. That wouldn't make any sense because Dennis Allen is a defensive coach. In my opinion, he's the best defensive mind in the NFL. No doubt about it, top 5. So if you fire him, you have to go get a defensive coach. So why would you fire arguably the best defensive coach to then go get a lesser defensive coach? Why would you handicap yourself for no reason, right? Kubiak, on the other side, could he potentially get head coaching offers if our offense is really good? Yeah. But it's a good problem to have. So thank you, Hurricane Mike. On a category, Hurricane Mike cat scale, I would say that was probably a cat 3. The cat 5 was the question when he called in and talked about shoving chopsticks places that chopsticks should never be. That was 2 weeks ago, last week. Someone double check me. Or don't. Next up, Alvin. Here we go. Could be Alvin Kamara. We could be hearing the contract negotiations live on stream right here. I just got to refresh every video. What's going on here? What's going on?
Hey, James. What's the hey? How's it going? Hope
What's up, Alvin?
Good day.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you, what's your thoughts? I'm thinking about getting a jersey soon. I'm trying to decide. I'm going to get like a young, A.T. Perry or Kendrick Miller. Which one do you think I should get? Which one do you think is going to stay here longer and have a bigger impact? Not necessarily this year, but in the future.
Great question and an important question. Jersey selection, okay? Whose jersey would you buy? Let me know in chat. I'm not really a jersey kind of hombre, right? But what I would do if I was Alvin is I would buy a Talise Fuaga jersey. Then I would I would make it like a shimmy shirt. I make like a little half shirt, right? Cut off, stomach hanging out. Then I would go down to my local tattoo shop and actually back that up. I would get on a plane and I would go to Hawaii. I would go to the Big Island and I would get the Samoan tribal tattoo. That's what I would do. And I would become Us. And I would acknowledge the tribal chief. And then I would wear my Talise Fuaga cutoff jersey with my new and probably horribly infected Samoan tribal tattoo. And I would show that off during the games. That's what I would do. So I would not get an A.T. Perry jersey. I would not get a Kendra Miller jersey. I would do the double jersey cutoff tattoo Samoan combo. That's what I would do. What are we thinking here? Jerseys limit crown intake? 100%. 100%. Can't let loose when there's a chance? Yeah, I mean, exactly. If you're wearing a jersey, you're telling people I'm good to go. If you're wearing a jersey, you're telling people I can get on the field. If you're wearing a jersey, you're telling people I got reps in me. If you are eating 4 dome dogs and drinking 2 Bloody Marys and 4 or 5, or who the hell even knows, Crown and Sprites, you're doing the opposite. Okay, you're 7 drinks and 4 hot dogs deep. You don't have reps in you. You're too far gone to help anybody on the offensive side or the defensive side. So why are you wearing a jersey? Okay, I think if you wear a jersey, you should have to wear cleats. Right? You should have to wear knee braces, gloves. Do you have a visor on? If the answer is no, take the jersey off. Okay? Hope no Samoans are in. Whoa, Jack. If you're on the island and you acknowledge the tribal chief, you are Samoan. If you're there and once you acknowledge the tribal chief, bam, you're Samoan. Easy. The ooze special, Hunter. The ooze special, yeah, yes. Get them all. Even if I don't know if Burley D is still in here. Burley D, biggest Pelicans fan I know, and that's saying something. Biggest Pelicans fan you know should be like just a free trip to Shutter Island. But he's got some of the worst jerseys I've ever seen. Najee Marshall, Isaiah Thomas Pelicans jersey, never even played for the Pelicans. I mean, just some of the most disrespectful jerseys ever seen. So let that be a lesson. Let that be a lesson of how dangerous it can be to get the wrong jersey. Herb Jones, yeah. All right, good job, Alvin. Thank you. Next up, John Jernigan. Here we go. It gets me every time. It gets me every time.
Hey, James, this is John from Amarillo. Hey, man, I just wanted to tell you that I love your content. Yeah, it's great. It's highly
Amarillo, Texas, John? Is that Amarillo, Texas? If so, the birthplace of Terry Funk.
Enjoyable. But one question I do have is, you make a lot of comments about working out and deadlifts and overhead presses, which are two of the most brutal to do, but
never wrong to be strong, ladies and gentlemen. Never wrong to be strong.
What program do you enjoy?
Good question, John. I recently, probably the last year, 2 years, I've really been into the conjugate system from Westside Barbell. John, there he is in chat. Thank you very much for the question. Yeah, I love. I've been doing the conjugate system. That's probably where I've had the most gains, I guess. I like it because it mixes things up, mixes the lifts up. I also like to incorporate some specialty lifts that Eric Bugenhagen on his YouTube kind of got me into, as far as like Zercher squats and behind the back deadlifts and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
What program do you use? Are you a conjugate guy? Are you a West Side?
Yes. There you go. I guess I answered the question a little early.
Starting strength, Mark Ripito. There's a lot of them. So I was just curious. You bodybuilding, powerlifting. Anyway, just wanted to know.
I would say a lot less of like the aesthetic, like the bodybuilding side of things, more of like deadlift, squat, bench, try and get those numbers up, max out every, you know how conjugate works. But that's more my style. I like it. It's fun. I couldn't go in there if I was going in there and doing 3 sets of 10 and never moving up or never chasing anything. I don't think I would like it as much. Good question though, John. I like that. I like the mix. I like the mix of the sports questions, the non-sports questions. So I love to hear that. Very nice. Dig listening to you. Great job, bro. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, man. This is fun. I love these live sessions. I've said it before. But live is the easiest. Live is my favorite way to do this. Like obviously we do recorded videos because it's the most efficient way. But if I had it the way I wanted it, I would be live every day. I would do bands and chains for life. Oh yeah, John. There you go. Yeah, that's West Side, baby. Yeah, bands and chains, man. Get some Zercher, do some Zercher squats, John. Throw those in. You'll enjoy that. I enjoy your Madden 24 content. Always can't wait to watch it. Ooh, Grudy, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, we missed this Sunday. We usually have episodes Sunday and Monday. We missed them. I had a commitment, but we'll be back. We'll be back this weekend with more of season 3 of the Madden. So if you're not familiar, go to James Skrmetta Madden franchise on YouTube. We're in our 3rd season with the Saints, showing how I would run an NFL team. All right. I powerlifted a swamp burger and a hot sausage burger from the swamp room yesterday. I'm very proud. You are a protocol hamburger away, my friend. Are we getting Southern Miss Dynasty? We are 100% playing college football 25. That will be on the Madden channel. And we're just going to let the coaching carousel, take us. 100%. Wherever it ends up. If I end up at UTSA and then I go to, Coastal Carolina and then I go to Tennessee and then I go to whatever, the coaching carousel will guide us. What was your biggest dog you won with the NFL last year, or longest shot you won with? I'll give you a couple feels bad, man, Will. I was second. I had D'Amico Ryans. If PBS is still in the chat, he'll know the number. Had D'Amico Ryans, coach of the year, at like 9-1, 10-1 or something like that, maybe even more. He got second place. Had Victor Wembanyama to get defensive player of the year at like 40 or 50-1. That got second place. I had Colin Morikawa to win last week's golf tournament at 14-1. He got second place. I had the San Francisco 49ers at like 20-1 when Trey Lance got hurt and Brock Purdy's first year starting. They lost in the NFC title game to the Eagles on like the fifth, and they had like their fifth string quarterback. I think Christian McCaffrey was playing quarterback. So I haven't hit a great long shot yet, but man, I've been really 8-1 on D'Amico, 8-1 on D'Amico Ryans. We lost by 1 vote. That was a fat ticket too. What green screen do you use? Hilariously hilarious. I like that name. This is from Elgato. So the Elgato green screen is, I've used a ton of green screens. I've used like felt sheets. I've used, like stuff from photography groups or departments or whatever. The Elgato green screen, it is by far the best green screen I've ever used, and it's so simple to set up and set down. You can take it anywhere. It's kind of expensive, but it's well worth it. Well worth it. I would 100%. Another idea, get a bunch of folks from the community into one big dynasty where they each pick their own teams and run it. Ooh, okay. Not sure logistics. Well, like Dr. Disrespect says, Crafty, I don't do logistics. I just do statistics, baby. 22-1 on an F1 race. Woo. That's nice. The Bengals, I had the Bengals last year late in the season. They might have been close to 20-1. And the next game is when Joe Burrow shattered his wrist. So that was cool. That was sweet. Last year, the only dog I hit last year was we had the Ravens to win the division at a decent price. It was like 2-1. But that's nothing to write home about. All right, last voice message by Will, and then we will react to Clint Kubiak's interview from the boy Eduardo. So let's see what Will has to say. The Willennium, 7 seconds. This is a quick one. Damn. 7 seconds. Whew. You get divorced for that. Here we go.
I thought Speak Pipe was a joke, James. Anyway, love your work, man. Keep it up.
That voice sounded very familiar. It sounded like an actor. I'm trying to think who the actor was. Man, that sounded just like an actor, just like hit me. Damn, let me hear that again.
I thought Speak Pipe was a joke, James. Anyway, love your work, man. Keep it up.
I appreciate that, Will. I appreciate that. SpeakPipe is not a joke. SpeakPipe is I don't even know, I just randomly found this website, but SpeakPipe is the easiest way to do this. I mean, it's the easiest way to do voice messages or whatever, and it works. We do it every week. So we're just going to keep doing it. So yeah, if you want your voice heard, go to speakpipe.com. I have the link in all the descriptions of my videos, and leave a message and we'll react to it. So good stuff. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for doing that and sending that to me. Good stuff, man. This is fantastic. Here we go. All right, let's do NOFs. So we're going to do the boys. Okay, so we got this here. We're going to react to this. Clint Kubiak. This is from New Orleans.football. The boys. A big fan of their stuff. I've said it a million times and I'll say it again. If you want like minute-to-minute updates and the deepest details you can find on this team, Mike Triplett he was battling the sun in Metairie a couple of videos ago we reacted to. He looked like a Creole tomato. He looked like the color of my hat. There wasn't enough sunscreen in the world. And what did he do that for? To chart Isaiah Foskey reps. Unbelievable dedication from the boys over at NOF. So yeah, go check them out all the time if you want that kind of info. All right. So this is Saints OC. Clint Kubiak talks about Taysom Hill's role, Trevor Penning's development, and Alvin Kamara. This is at the New Orleans Saints practice facility. For some reason, they shoved them outside for these interviews, so can't wait to hear what B-52 bomber or whatever's flying overhead. Let's get right into it.
Coach, I talked to Fuaga yesterday, and he said it's helping him acclimate to New Orleans because the playbook is very similar to Oregon State is here. Can you kind of lay it out and how that is helping him?
Yeah, I guess this guy's new. I guess this guy asking the question wasn't watching the channel during the draft, because that was the whole point. The whole point of why we got Talise Fuaga is because he was used to and is good at the wide zone running scheme that Clint Kubiak runs. That's it. He is athletic. He can get out there and do the kind of blocking and run the kind of schemes and all of that Kubiak wants. It was a scheme selection. Everyone knew that. That's why when everyone was saying Olu Fashanu this and draft this random offensive lineman that Mel Kiper had rated, Clint Kubiak, very intentional. Clint Kubiak said, no, I want this guy. I want Talise Fuaga because he is a positional fit. We need an offensive lineman, but he is also a scheme fit. So that was a great example of how detailed Clint Kubiak is with everything in his offense.
Yeah, I'd say that sticks out in his film, some of the similar concepts and schemes, but I think it's more of a compliment just to his intelligence as a person. He works hard at it. He's smart. He was well coached at Oregon State.
You won't have a good gauge with Fuaga until training camp when the pads come on. When did you finally realize he's got it? He can do it at left tackle, not a right tackle like he did in college.
Good question. I mean, he was a right tackle his entire career at Oregon State. He's moving to left tackle apparently, thanks to Trevor Penning. But that is worth noting, because at some point, like we just believe it's going to work, right? We're just hearing good things, we're hearing positive things, so we're thinking, okay, this transition's smooth. But there could be a moment where they do have to decide, like, okay, this isn't just an experiment. Like, we are actually going to do this. We are actually going to move him to the left tackle, and he's going to be our cornerstone left tackle. And if he can't do it, then you have to decide, like, okay, we are going to keep him on the right side. Do you throw Trevor back to the left, or do you figure something else out? So, when the rubber meets the road and they decide one way or the other, like, that's a huge decision.
Well, if he ever thinks he's got it, he's in trouble, But I think he's done everything he can to give himself an opportunity and impressed us early. But it all changes when the pads go on. So, yeah. But he's made of the right stuff, so I'm not worried about him.
What do you think so far of the offensive rollout that you guys?
Oh my God! How about this guy? Damn! How about this guy coming from? He came from the back. Pause. Was snuck up behind Kubiak. What? I mean, this is an insane. Ladies and gentlemen, if we have any journalists, future journalists in the chat, I like to give some interview tips. This is not the way you want to start a question, directly behind the person you're interviewing. You do not want them to be startled whenever you ask a question. This right here, not good. Okay, if you're the guy in the safari hat, you gotta move around to where at least Kubiak can see you.
What do you think so far of the offensive rollout that you guys have been able to institute so far? You install and how far you're along?
Also, everyone else here is pissed off at this guy because now he's in all their shot. They're trying to film Clint Kubiak. First of all, Clint, how about him showing off the watch? Damn. But everyone's pissed off because they're trying to film Clint Kubiak. And this guy's in the entire video. They can't edit this guy out, mess up the framing. Horrible setup from this hombre.
Our guys did a great job of, taking in a lot of information and going and putting it on the grass. Coach Allen gave us a lot of meeting time to get it installed. So I'm pleased with where we're at, and, we're never going to be where we want to be. If we have that mindset, we'll be all right.
There you go.
We knew that the shaving industry...
Not the ads. Not the ads. I mean, what... Is this NOF? Okay. I was about to say, I thought for a second we were doing the Saints channel. I was thinking, when the hell did the Saints start putting ads on their videos?
Where have you guys, as far as gauging of how much you've developed in the last month from a mental standpoint, how much would you say that's really average?
Yeah, I think I've seen improvement, in the competitive periods when, the ones go out there and they, move the ball down the field. That's a good start. But again, there is no pass rush really. We're all in underwear out here. So we get to...
Okay. Clint, come on.
Training camp, we put pads on. Guys that maybe you didn't notice here the last couple of weeks, they're going to start showing up in the other way around too. So, that's what we tell our guys is it's real football come the fall. So they got to put themselves in position to be successful and be in shape over this break.
Clint, how would you gauge that jump from when Derek first kind of got, learning that offense? Where is that at this point? Where's that, I guess, how would you gauge that?
He's been impressive with, and I knew that coming here. That was a big reason to come here, right? To be able to coach him and to coach a guy who's played a lot of football and, has been to Pro Bowls and is obviously a very intelligent player. So no surprise that he's been able to handle it well. He's done a good job. He's exceeded expectations, but, like I said with everybody else, he's also has a growth mindset and is not satisfied. So we have a lot of work to do come the fall.
Say what you want about Carr, and we got the damn B-52 bomber, just on command there. But say what you want about Carr, but for Kubiak to inherit Derek Carr, because Kubiak wasn't part of the process whenever Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen and Derek Carr went to Ralph's over at City Park and had their steak or whatever. But for Kubiak to inherit Carr, Carr is kind of the perfect quarterback to inherit for this system because all Kubiak wants Carr to do is be smart and efficiently run the offense. He doesn't want Derek Carr to be Lamar Jackson. He doesn't want improv or running around or extending the play or any of that stuff. He doesn't want hero ball. And that's what we don't want Derek Carr to do. The last thing we want is Derek Carr to hold the ball for too long or run around or try and create or get into trouble. Kubiak just wants a smart, veteran, comfortable quarterback who's got years under his belt, who's not going to get rattled by the system, can pick it up quickly and run it efficiently. That is describing Derek Carr. So even if Carr isn't that great of a quarterback, and we believe I have him again at the 17th best quarterback in the NFL on that third tier, somewhere between 14 and 17, that's perfect. Cool. Well, let him just run the system. Just run the system, be efficient, be smart. Okay? I mean, it's a perfect fit. The fact that it just kind of happened on accident, perfect.
What kind of progress have you seen?
It's unbelievable.
What are some of the things you want to see maybe work on before training camp?
All right, so in the middle of Top Gun 3, Nick Underhill asked Clint Kubiak about Trevor Penning's progression. So as Maverick comes screeching over the top ahead of PJ's and Matt Bauer's auto group and whatever the hell else is in Metairie, as they come bombing over there, let's hear what Clint has to say.
I think Trevor Penning has done everything we've asked him since we got here. Really tough mentality. I like the person. I like the way he works. I like how important the game is to him. And, he's no different than anybody else. We're going to coach him hard and expect a lot out of him. And, we'll see what happens when we put the pads on.
Eric McCoy talked about how, along with Trevor and Tolly and even Tolly, they really picked up the playbook and expedited pace compared to what they were expected to. What do you think about how the younger offensive linemen are adjusting and learning their play style?
So the question, I don't know if you could hear that, it was kind of low audio, but the question was the young offensive linemen seem to be picking up the playbook quickly. I would say I think Talise Fuaga, being in at Oregon State, well-coached, Power 5 program, I do think that that transition is easier, which is why a lot of people say, well, just go get an offensive lineman from Michigan. Just go get an offensive lineman from Wisconsin, because more than likely they're going to be asked to do the same thing, and it will be a smooth transition. You go get an offensive lineman from North Dakota State, or North Dakota State's a bad example because they run kind of a pro system too, but you could get someone from like Western Kentucky who's running this air raid type offense. Those offensive linemen may have a tougher transition because they're not really running the same pro style playbook or schemes?
Well, I think you got two incredible offensive line coaches in John Benton and Rick Dennison. So, I mean, you got double the teaching right there. So I know I'm really fortunate to get to work with those guys and really focus my attention other places, and those guys have handled it. And just a really impressive group of coaches right there, along with Jari Evans. So those guys are lucky. Those players are lucky to have those guys.
Clint, when you've studied Chris Olave and then now seen him on the field and worked with him, what are some opportunities that you see that his game can be expanded or that you can get even new elements out of him?
So Olave, we reacted to a video with Olave a couple days ago, and Olave alluded to something that's very interesting. He talked about how the system is built for like yards after the catch, and how he's excited to catch the ball and be expected to get some yards after the catch. Whereas before, you're lucky to even complete a pass in Pete Carmichael's system. So for someone like Olave and Rashid Shaheed to get the ball in space and then know, like, okay, once I catch this ball, I'm expected to turn up and get some yards. That should be very energizing for those players. Because now it's almost like more of what they were doing in college, like really taking over, really being dynamic, instead of just like, let me run this 8-yard out route and hope that I can pick up 8 yards. A lot of contested catches. This scheme, the ball is going to a player because they are open. That's how this scheme works.
Obviously, he's a playmaker. He's 2 years of a lot of production, and we think there's more in the tank. And
I hope so.
I think to his credit, he had an injury in this offseason and played through it. Showed a lot of grit, a lot of toughness. We definitely have studied what he does well and want to expand on that. And his success will come from the team's success. So I just want to see him to continue to develop and help us in more ways than just catching the ball. And that's with all receivers. Put a lot of pressure on those guys.
Oh, the blocking. The blocking in this offense, blocking on the receivers and downfield is very, very important.
To help us out in the run game. So that's a big part of his improvement and all the wideouts.
And the last time we talked to you, I think it was at rookie camp, so we hadn't seen Taysom Hill do anything yet. You said you were going to try a number of things and see what works. I mean, I think we've seen you try everything with Taysom Hill. I mean, is that the idea? Is you just want to look at him everywhere, or he could really have a huge role in this offense?
I mean, this is the exploratory phase, no doubt about it. This is the part of the offseason where you want to see everything. Can Taysom Hill play fullback? Can he play tight end? Can Talise Fuaga play right tackle? Can he play left tackle? Can Trevor Penning play right tackle? Can he sell candy pecans in row 7 during game day? Like, you got to just see every possibility. Everything that could happen, you want to see it and then make your decisions after that. So I think a lot of what we're seeing with Taysom right now is probably exploratory. Do I think he's going to be taking fullback handoffs? Probably not, right? But let's see if he can do it.
Yeah, well, he's obviously a highly intelligent player that's been coached extremely well, so there's a lot of carryover in his knowledge, and then his effort and his attention to detail was excellent this whole offseason. So, I appreciate the work that he put into it, and I appreciate, our coaching staff's creativity and trying to get him at a lot of spots. But
what the hell is this guy? Do y'all see this hand over here with the phone? What is this film? What is the video of? Is he filming just his rear delt? I mean, there's no way this video can be of anything but the back of his shoulder. I mean, that phone is a foot off of Kubiak. It has a downward angle. Can y'all see that on the right side? The hand with the phone? Out of control angle to video this interview.
He's no different than there's our receivers that have played 3 different positions. So, so there's guys like.
He's going to get back to the newsroom and they're going to be like, all right, Jeffrey, let's see the video. You were at the Clint Kubiak interview, weren't you? Weren't you at the Clint Kubiak interview? You filmed it, right? Because it's going live with the 6 o'clock news. Let's see what you got. And this guy's going to look at this film and say, damn it. No, I wasn't there. It wasn't me. It was somebody else.
Like Cedric Wilson, that's a really, really intelligent guy that's played a lot of spots too. Maybe doesn't get as much of the credit, but I would compliment him as well. As well as our offensive linemen that are playing center and guard. So, But yeah, Taysom's done a great job this offseason.
Clint, beyond just like a successful running game, what goes into making play action passes work? Like what makes them successful beyond?
Another ad?
Braden has
NOF.
amazing.
Guys, jeez.
Yeah. Not being in 2nd and 20 helps, you know, staying ahead of the chains, and not to be a smart aleck, but that's the truth. I think it starts from the top down. It starts with the head coach supporting us, wanting to run the ball, and then trickling down to the players and their mindset into making those play actions come to life once we run the ball. I think it's just having good habits in practice and us being good teachers. And if we can install good runs and be successful there, then we can build off of the pass game. But you know, it's a lot of this. I wish it was just one thing, but it's not.
Are you uncomfortable with all the attention you've gotten that the offense has gotten in this offseason, or is that just part of life in this league?
So the question was, are you uncomfortable with the attention that the offense has got and you've gotten? Brother, were you born yesterday? This is the NFL. Offense is the most important part. Every offense gets the highlight, the spotlight. Every quarterback gets the spotlight. Like that's the game. That's the NFL nowadays. Like if you're the OC, if you're the offense, especially an OC that's supposed to take over for Pistol Pete and supposed to bring life back to one of the greatest offenses we've seen in the last 20 years, like of course you're going to get a ton of eyes on you. And I would think Kubiak wants that. I mean, why would you take the job if you don't? So it's certainly part of the job, but I don't think it should make him uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Don't do that to me,
Clint.
Clint.
When you're coming as a new staff, there's going to be more attention on you, and that's part of our job is to deal with expectations, whether they're good or bad. So, I tell the players all the time that your expectations have to be your own. So my expectations are one thing, Eric McCoy's are another, and we have high expectations of ourselves regardless of what's going on outside. And if we can just kind of narrow our vision and put the blinders on and focus on that, and less about what's going on around us, the better we'll be.
A long time ago, I heard something that rings true, and I think about it all the time. There's a little bit of truth in every single joke. So when Clint said, absolutely, makes me very uncomfortable, even though he said it with a smile, I got a feeling when he lays down at night and he's right before he goes to bed, he's probably thinking like, man, I do not like all these cameras. I do not like the media. I do not like doing these interviews.
Kind of as a follow-up, do you feel like you have the players to be one of those top clubs immediately on the offensive side of the ball?
I think we're just going to try to go get a first down in training camp and go from there. We got who we got. I like who we got, and it ain't going to change from now to the season. So we better go figure it out pretty quick.
Clint, a little PR note. Just say yes. Just say yes. We've got the guys. We can win games. We can be one of the best offenses in the NFL. Don't say we've got who we've got. Jeez, I mean that's not instilling a ton of confidence, my boy.
Were you surprised by Kamara's absence from practice after the walkthrough today? Did you talk to him at all?
No, I have talked to him when he was here last couple of days. He's been great. Talked to him on the phone even when he was gone. We've been in constant communication. Really loved the way he put in the work yesterday and in the walkthrough. But I don't have any other comment on after that.
There you go.
Did he tell you why he wasn't in practice, or?
I think DA.
We covered the AK contract situation earlier in this video. I'll cut it up and put a video out on the channel if you missed it. But so we did cover that. I know that news came down today.
They answered some of those questions. I didn't get to talk to him, no. But no.
Early on, some of the guys mentioned that you guys were meeting as a group as opposed to being like in individual rooms. Is that how you run it all the time? And what's the advantage of that?
I think it's important we're all on the same page.
So, man, I don't know if y'all can see this guy that we were talking about filming. I mean, this is a wild character. But the question was, so the offense meets as a group. The offense doesn't meet just like, position groups. So the wide receivers don't just meet, then the running backs don't just meet. Everyone meets together. I think part of that is because of how they run the offense. So we've talked about it before here where the play calls are shorter, right? What does that mean? That means that a player has to know what everyone's doing on the play. Instead of just waiting to hear their identifier in the play, they have to know the whole thing. So it makes sense that the whole offense would meet together. because they do have to all know what everyone else is doing, and what better way to do that than to meet and prep and plan as a group. So makes total sense. Makes total sense that with this style of offense, you would want it to be the whole offense instead of just like, all right, the wide receivers go figure out your thing, running backs go figure out your thing. So, and especially you got to think too, guys, like this whole team is learning this offense fresh. This whole team is learning this offense brand new right now. No one on this team has 3 years, 4 years, 5 years with the offense, right? So they're playing catch up. They're trying to do things as efficient, as fast as possible. And that's probably a way to expedite all that.
Coaches and players, we got new coaches working together too. So I think it's important to hear one voice early. So that's something that I think is really important as an offense, that we're all speaking the same language, coaches and players.
So that's just kind of like establishing the culture, and then later on, like, you break off and go into different rooms, or?
Hey, just taking it one day at a time, and this time setting that we had, we needed to be together as much as possible. So we'll probably do that quite a bit, though. Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Motion is something that's new to a lot of the players that have been in this offense in the past. Is that just something that you kind of have to drill early, so that by the time the actual plays get here, it's not something that's thinking about that?
Yeah, I think we put our guys. We gave a lot to them. Definitely way more than we ever put in one game plan, and they handled it really well. So you just got to put them through it. You got to make it hard on them in practice, make them study at night. And I think overall, I was pleased with the detail our guys had and our coaches that put them through it.
DA said that one more. DA said that usually after these practices, the staff has been going back and kind of figuring out, all right, there's some different looks that we're seeing offensively that we've got to adjust. You guys as a staff seen stuff from this defense that you've gone, maybe we make a couple adjustments here to kind of be effective of what we're doing. Or is that give and take kind of the same between?
Yeah, it's the whole point of training camp. The whole point of OTAs and mini camp is to fine tune all of that. So comment in the chat, he isn't confident on the playmakers. I think I would phrase it as he's still trying to figure out who the playmakers are. I think Kubiak is coming into this with fresh eyes. Shout out to Andy Grammer. That is a deep cut. Fresh eyes, Andy Grammer. I think it's fresh eyes. I hope it is now that I made a big deal about this. And I hope his name's Andy Grammer. But great song. Not related to Kelsey Grammer. But I think Clint is coming into this with fresh eyes. I think he's coming into this saying, I don't care if we've got to run the offense through Rashid Shaheed. I don't care if we run the offense through Alvin Kamara. I don't care if we run the offense through Taysom Hill. As long as we are efficiently moving the football, as long as we're picking up the chains and scoring points. I really believe that's how he's looking at this. So I don't think he's not confident in the playmakers. I don't think he's confident in telling you this is how we're going to do it. And I think he's willing to change things on the fly. I think he's willing to think out of the box. I think that's where he's at. And that's what you want. You don't want, even though I think Alvin Kamara is the starting running back, you don't want your OC to say, hey, look, Alvin's the starting running back, no doubt about it. We're running the ball through him. He's getting the ball 80% of the time. If he's fresh, he's going to get in, no doubt about it, right? Like, you don't want that. You want someone to say, like, well, we'll see what's best for us. We'll see what the defense is showing us. We'll see where the players are performing best, and we'll go from there. So it does come off as like he's kind of wishy-washy about certain things, but I think that's because he's willing to change things on a dime. I think he's willing to shift and like I said, get out of the box. So
yeah, that's everywhere you go, and just from afar, playing against Coach Allen in the past is one of the toughest defensive schemes to face, and the number of looks that we got in this one camp, is probably as much as you'll see in the NFL with the defense that's been established for a long time, and they definitely caused a lot of problems for us and made us better.
3 ads. Shocking. Oh, that was the end of the video. Okay, boom. End of the video right there. So there you go. So good stuff. Good stuff from Clint. I mean, I liked it. I liked what I love what he's saying. I mean, I love what he's saying. I love how he's handling this. I really do. He just seems like a guy he doesn't seem like a first-year OC. He doesn't seem like a guy I don't think he likes the media. I don't think he likes that side of things. But he doesn't seem like he's not confident in his system. He doesn't seem like he's afraid to, draw a line in the sand and make a decision and make a call and all that. I mean, to me, he just seems like he's way ahead of his years as far as like, this is my offense. You know, he's not walking on eggshells. He's not tip-tap-toeing. He seems like an OC who has done this, won games. I mean, the fact that he has a very short amount of time as an OC, I mean, you could fool me. You could fool me. So I don't know if he, and maybe that's part of like working with Shanahan and working in San Francisco. Like maybe you're just in such a high level franchise. Like, you know, he's got future head coach written all over him. I agree. He seems way more confident than Pete for sure. Oh my God, it's night and day. It's crazy too, and this kind of rolls back to the question we answered earlier, but about the analytics. Pete's answers and Kubiak's answers, they're talking two different languages. They're talking completely different stuff. Kubiak's talking way more about like really specific, you know, yards and down and distance and situations and personnel groups and all that. And Pete was just saying cliche after cliche after cliche. Completely different. Let's get caught up in chat here. Pammy Whammy, please hit that like. Thank you. Yes, absolutely, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, if you like what you've been a part of, make sure, you know, daily content, daily videos. No one's doing what we do, and we do it on a daily basis. I'll tell you that right now. So hit the like button and all that stuff. I do appreciate that. Pammy Whammy. Let's see what else we got here. It's crazy how much he looks like Shanahan. I don't know if he looks like Kyle, but he definitely gives off Kyle. He sounds a lot like Kyle. He sounds like, because if you ever listen to Kyle's interviews, he's very kind of like matter of fact. He's very like, this is just how it is. He just wants to be watching tape. Like Kyle Shanahan, when he does interviews, and he just wants to be in the room. He just wants to be in the room talking ball. That's it. You know, he doesn't want to be doing the media stuff. He doesn't want to be taking time out of his day. He just wants to be getting after it. You can tell by the sweat stain on Kubiak's hat. He's the same way. You know, you don't get that sweat stain for free. You know what I mean? I think Clint Kubiak's a football guy. I wouldn't tell you. I mean, this is the God's honest truth, ladies and gentlemen. I wouldn't sit here and tell y'all that I have full faith in Kubiak if I didn't. What I have heard, what I have seen, I mean, I am nothing but impressed. And just like with Pete Carmichael last year, I could tell you from a mile away, that guy should be on a unicycle juggling balls because he's a clown. Very easy to see. You know, like, that's it. Give him a horn, let him go honking around, pull a rabbit out of his hat. He should be in the middle of a circus. Easy to see. You know, and and there was no point where I was sitting here saying like, oh, maybe Pete can do this, maybe Pete can do that. And there's a lot of coaches like that in the NFL. There's a lot of head coaches in the NFL that I think are clowns. Last year or 2 years ago, we had a video that popped off on the channel about Nathaniel Hackett. It took me before the game was over, the video started. It was when Nathaniel Hackett chose to kick the field goal, like a 60-something yard field goal, instead of going for it on 4th and 5 or whatever. That next day, we started that video saying Nathaniel Hackett cannot be a head coach. Straight up. So he cannot be a head coach. He does not have what it takes. And we were right. Certainly not Zach Taylor. Crafty. Yeah, Zach Taylor, I will say. So Crafty, obviously, one of the mods in here, has been around for a long, long, long time. Crafty, he is right about that. I was very down on Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor, during his first year as the head coach at Cincinnati. And I'll give him this. Zach Taylor got better at where I thought he was bad. And I don't know if he brought in coordinators or if he just learned on the job, or maybe sometimes having Joe Burrow fixes things, but Zach Taylor has become a much better coach. So if there was a coach that I was really down on that changed how I view him, it was Zach Taylor, for sure. 100%. The Mizzou coach, was it Eli Drinkowitz? Isn't that his name? I think that's his name. But, I mean, there's head coaches, you know, like, I'm not a big Todd Bowles guy. I think Mike McCarthy's a clown. You know, so it's not just coordinators. It's not just Pete Carmichael. It's not just Yeah, there's a lot of them. I thought Steve Wilkes was a horrible DC for the 49ers. Not a big Aaron Glenn guy out in Detroit, but, ebbs and flows. He still has his moments, yeah. I mean, he's gotten better, though. I think Taylor's gotten better. Yeah, for sure. Matt Patricia's one. I think Nick Sirianni's super overrated. So, good stuff, man. Good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. These are fun. I like these a lot. I really do like the live streams. Let's check the Reddit. Shall we? Hey, James, are there any current players on the Saints roster you think are going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame? I think Cam Jordan's a Hall of Famer. Besides him, too early to tell with some people, but I would say Cam and Demario Davis are probably Hall of Famers. Cam more so than Demario, but hey, James, have you ever thought about filming a video with the guys at New Orleans Football? You and them are hands down the best analysts of Saints football. I would love to do a collab. Yeah, I'm open to collabs with a lot of content creators, of Saints content creators. I would collab with OTB. I would collab with New Orleans Football. Any of those guys. I did a collab with. We talked about it, I think, last episode. But the guys at You Don't Know Ball. You Don't Know Ball YouTube channel. I did a collab with them that's coming out either this month or next month. We did a full hour. They said they want to do it. They said, let's do a 20-minute interview. And I said, brother, trust me. Okay, we're going a whole lot longer than 20. And we went a full hour. So when that episode comes out, I'll definitely let all of you know, and we'll put it all over the socials and all that stuff. So the collabs are coming in. So I'm open to a collab for sure. But it would definitely have to be a channel that I support or a channel that I like. I wouldn't do a collab if I didn't like their content or if I thought they weren't good. Let's see here. Oh man, another question very similar to the question we answered on the video thing, on the voice message. Hey James, what do you think is the number one thing the Saints are missing on their roster right now? Right now, it's offensive line and a pass rush. I think they have fixed the pass rush, and I think they have fixed some of the offensive line, but there's still huge issues. So those are the two still the biggest issues, is those two things right there. 2 hours almost, you're a machine. Oh, Will, Bucks and Crafty can tell you, Will, I used to rip off 4, 5, 6 hour streams every single day back in the day, accurate days. So 2 hours, shoot, nothing. Light work. Taysom Hill is definitely a Hall of Famer. I don't think so. I'm kind of stingy with the Hall of Fame though. Like a lot of people are really quick to put people in the Hall of Fame. I don't think being good should get you in the Hall of Fame. Like I think you should have to be like top tier, like highest level player should be. That's what the Hall of Fame should be. Like if you were just good for a long time, like Kirk Cousins, like I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think he's even close. If Matt Stafford didn't have the Super Bowl, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. So I'm a little stingier with the Hall of Fame. With that being said, of Pete's incompetency, give the offense some credit for still being ranked 9th. See, that's where you got to get kind of. See, that's where you got to say let's see here. Like, what was the offense ranked 9th in? Okay, so answer me that, because this is where you can get kind of messed up. And this is where this kind of stuff happens. 10th in points. Yeah. See, like. I wouldn't pick points as something like a real indicator. So I always go to DVOA. Just like real quick. DVOA is adjusted value over average. So it breaks down. Now DVOA stands for defense, but they do offense too. So their system breaks down every single play and compares a team's performance to a league average baseline based on the situation and opponent. Okay, and that's just a really quick explainer. Okay. So if you look at like the DVOA, that's total DVOA, offensive DVOA. So the rank. All right, so the 49ers, all right, we're gonna we're going to go down a rabbit hole here. The 49ers are the number one team last year, offensive DVOA. They had a 31.8% DVOA, which we know means that compared to a league average baseline, 31% of their plays were over league average. Okay, it's a quick, crude way of explaining DVOA. So the Saints were 17th with a negative 0.6%. So on average per play, the Saints were negative 0.6% as effective, basically. So if you look at points per game, you're like, damn, they were a top 10 offense. But they were not a top 10 offense. They were, and I'm not saying DVOA is everything, but it's a blend. You got to look at a bunch of stats. Defense is the same way, right? I heard a lot of people say, I would bet, someone do this for me real quick. I would bet a really bad defense, like the Arizona Cardinals, or the Washington Commanders, or the Denver Broncos, or the Carolina Panthers, I would bet they rank pretty highly in opponents' passing yards per game because they're bad. So what's that mean? They're losing. So what's that mean? The offenses that they're playing aren't throwing the ball that much, right? So you could look at that and say, damn, the Panthers have a top 10 passing defense. But in reality, they have the 25th ranked defense, and you have to factor in like, oh, they don't have a good pass defense. People just aren't throwing against them because they're up 20, 30 points. So that's a good way to show, like, you got to kind of look more into the context of the games. You got to look more into the context of what's happening. So points per game, yards per game, rushing yards per game, passing yards per game, things like that. That can get you in a lot of trouble when you're looking at, rankings and all that stuff. So, James, let the Falcons fans know who watch you in secret why the Saints have much, if not more. Yes, I think it's the same. I think the Falcons, the Saints, and the Bucks are all pretty similar. I think they're all right there. I think one's going to win 10 games, one's going to win 9 games, one's going to win 8 games. And that'll be it. It'll be a razor's edge. Shouts to Razor Ramon. It'll be a razor's edge, thin line of margin between them. But I definitely don't think any of the three are that much better than the other. And I certainly don't think Kirk Cousins and a Raheem Morris, a coach with a winning percentage as a head coach, similar to Dennis Allen, and a offensive coordinator who's never called a play in his life, I don't think that, and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, I don't think that is enough to make them go from 7 wins with the easiest schedule in the NFL to all of a sudden they're going to win 11, 12 games. Saints go 4-6 in the division. Yeah, 4-2. All power rated about the same. I would say so. Yeah, I would say. I mean, I haven't done like my official power rankings or anything. That'll come out before the season, but I would guess it probably would look something like, if Atlanta's the 12th best team, then I'm just making something up here. But if Atlanta's the 12th best team, I would have New Orleans as like the 14th best team, and then Tampa the 15th best team. Like they're all right there. They're all right there. They are within a point of each other. 100%. They are within a point difference of power rankings. If I was doing Atlanta and New Orleans on a neutral right now, if I was making a betting spread for them, I'd probably have it. I'd probably open Atlanta like -0.5, -1, something like that. But I wouldn't go much higher than that on a neutral. That would be. I just don't see it. And same with Tampa. Like I would do the exact same thing. It's all three are the same. All right, we got about 5 minutes left in the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Get up in chat, pop off in chat. This is your time. Throw some questions out there. Anything, any topics, any whatever. Again, make sure you are following on Twitter. if you're on Twitter. Great spot to keep up. You know, we tweet and all this stuff all the time. So make sure you're on there. I also tweet out daily videos, what videos were popping off. Was this yesterday? No, this was June 9th. We had Saints video, a little gaming channel video, all that stuff. Make sure you're out there on Twitter. We're also on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, all that stuff. We're everywhere. We're everywhere, man. We're doing it. Here's a question. What in God's name are you doing in light mode? Dude, I don't really like the dark mode. When that first popped off, when dark mode, light mode, all that stuff popped off, I tried dark mode. I just don't like it. I like the white background, like the bright background. I don't know if it's easier for me to see or what, but I don't like the dark mode. I don't know why. Great show, my man. Be well. Absolutely, man. Thank y'all very much for hanging out. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, I remember, not to wax poetic, ladies and gentlemen, but I remember streaming for 2 people, and they were Crafty and Bucks. Like, and that was it, and that was good enough for me. So to have 100 people, 120, 130 people in here for 2 straight hours, not dropping at all, like, man, I mean, it's awesome. The support is crazy. Girthquake, what a name. Oh my God. Girthquake, what a name. That's simultaneously the greatest monster truck name and the greatest OnlyFans name of all time. Girthquake. Jesus. That is, I might start calling I might start going by that. Pumps out S tier Saints content. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, we had a comment earlier about support, like supporting the channel. Supporting the channel. Best way to do it, just like the videos, subscribe, watch them, comment, share them with people with the same interest. But that's good enough for me. DVOA is low for the Saints because of value strength of the opponent low, while teams in the AFC North will have higher value. Yeah, but I mean, I think the level, all that should be weighted though. Like, a performance against a good team versus a bad team, like all of that on a per play basis probably should be factored in. And there are non-weighted too, by the way. So if you don't want that, you can go here to the non-adjusted totals, non-weighted, and this is like their free page, but you can get into non-weighted passing defense, non-weighted rushing defense. You can get as deep and as filtered as you want. But this is just like Fantasy, what is it called? Fantasy Network, I think, bought DVOA from, I don't even remember the old website. But they bought DVOA and put it behind a paywall. So this is like their super basic kind of free version. See, yeah, like weighted DVOA. So, James, are you going live next Thursday? I love these. We should be. I am really trying to make Thursday nights Football Outsiders. There you go. Yeah. They took DVOA and threw that thing behind a paywall real quick. The goal is, I know we've done 2 of these in a row. The goal is to make Thursday nights live and to do 2 hours every Thursday night. Boom, just 6 to 8, rocking and rolling. That is the goal. I love it. The engagement's been great. Y'all seem to like it. For the draft, we did live on the draft. We had 500 viewers all night there. Last week we had a couple hundred. This week we've got a couple hundred. So if the people like it and enjoy it and engage with it, I will keep doing it. That's how these channels roll. So yeah, Pam, I almost called you Pammy Whammy. Pam, I will, or I guess Pammy Whammy, whatever. I don't know if your name's Pam. Should just went straight with Pammy Whammy. But make sure to follow the Twitter. I'll always update on there. Start a Patreon. I want to support the best. I appreciate that, man. We'll see. Right now, like I said, the engagements on the video, sharing the video, all that stuff is good enough. It's Pam? Okay. I didn't want to assume your name was Pam. Pammy Whammy, I would think, but who knows? Would you ever do a 24-hour stream? I don't know if I could do 24. I don't know if I could be up for 24 hours. I'm up in age now. I don't think 12 hours would be that bad. I think I could do a 12-hour stream. I don't think I could do a 24. 24 is nuts. But I think I could do a 12, no problem. I think I could do 12. I don't think 12 would be that bad. My throat would be destroyed. Pause. Be straight up Lana Rhodes. But Giants, Broncos, Commanders, and Raiders all seem winnable to me. Yeah. What 2 games would be most likely to win by so Girthquake, if you look at the Vegas odds, 2 games that are winnable that I didn't have on that list were the Browns and the Rams. Both of those are like 1 point, 2 point spreads. So those are coin toss games. It helps with the starvation before real football. No doubt. That's why I'm happy to put out all this content, because I know right now it's the dog days of summer, so I know there's nothing on TV. Trace could do 24 hours. Yeah, Trace could probably do it. Yeah. If we go to the Super Bowl, will you be there? So I actually talked about this on that collab I mentioned, the interview with You Don't Know Ball. They asked me the same thing. And I honestly think if the Saints played in the Super Bowl in the Dome, part of me thinks that'd be the worst place to be to watch it. Like, don't you have to be in the city? Don't you have to be like in the French Quarter with the people at a bar, like feeling it? Like, isn't that so part of me thinks like that's the one game you'd want to miss. That's the one game you'd want to watch in the city instead of in the stands. So it would be with one thing that's interesting is that with the Super Bowl becomes Radio Row. And so Radio Row, is going to obviously be in New Orleans. And so I've flirted with the idea of like seeing if we could do something on Radio Row. Like, what's that look like? Do we live stream from there every night? So who knows? I'll be on Bourbon Street. I'll treat. I'm holding you to it. Purple drink at Lafitte's. I'll hold you to it. I totally agree. A bar is best to watch Super Bowl. A whole lot of good bars. No doubt about that. Ladies and gentlemen, unbelievable again. The support. Good stuff. Get in there. Follow the channel. Nasty 400 followed. Victor followed. Bucks liking tweets left and right. Get involved. The Reddit. Great place to drop your questions. Don't forget Speak Pipe if you want to hear your voice on the channel. You like to fish, James? I have a fly fishing rod and reel that I have yet to utilize. But in my mind, I would like to start fly fishing. Saints Bengals Super Bowl, I will be joining y'all down south. Hey, that would be crazy. That would be awesome. That would be absolutely sweet. Saints Bengals Super Bowl, Crafty comes down. Radio Row, Bucks is live streaming Foot Champs from Bourbon Street. Unbelievable. Everybody get some likes to your boy. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end the stream there. A nice, crisp 2 hours. I told Matt on his AFR live show that the Saints will have an above 500 record, and he went off on him. Hey, you got to get... Not everybody can do what we do, Dark Side. Some people have to... They got to work for those views. They got to work for those clicks, right? It's not what we do. Not what we do. But thank you all very much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. Again, follow the channels. The Madden channel, the main channel, everything we got, the gaming channel, it's all out there. Get involved. We are taking over, and we're doing it fast, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fastest rising channel, not just in New Orleans, but in the totality of sports media, and that's all because of each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Good evening, my friend. Have a good one. Thank you, Krem Dalahalla. Much appreciated. Thank you all for hanging out. I will see you. Video tomorrow. Daily videos don't stop. So the video tomorrow on the main channel. Peace. Y'all are the best. Until next time.